We find out what's on the agenda for tonight's Town Council meeting with Town Council President Jessica Rapp-Grissetti on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Thursday, September 15th, 2016. I'm Sarah Mantle.
One of the items under old business is the a proposed zoning ordinance change with regards to commercial vehicle storage. And I know at the request of Councilor Will Crocker, who's sponsoring this, he wants to put this off until the end of October, so we'll be obliging him in that regard. Also, items that may be acted upon. One is the Water Resource Advisory Committee. Members, when we formed that committee, we did not designate the members to be special municipal employees, and by doing this, one of the members that serves on it can still answer requests for proposals or for work in his specialized field. So that's been requested.
Okay.
So we'll be acting on that. And then a major regulatory agreement with the town of Barnstable and Mark Hyannis LLC is the name of the corporation. This is for the redevelopment of the lots and commercial areas near the Citizens Bank, and there's a car dealership, a used car dealership, a car repair. I think there's eight curb cuts in this area, and this is right near the Rotary in Hyannis, right at 411 and 417 Barnstable Road, and then the road behind that called Burse Road. So they came to the town putting together a regulatory agreement, and they'll be doing their presentation. They want to redevelop it with a CVS, and also the Citizens Bank would remain there as well. But so that comes before the council tonight,
Great.
And that requires a roll call of 2/3 by the council.
And then it looks like the last order under old business deals with some of the water quality issues at Mary Dunn that we found out last year.
Yeah, I don't want to get into too much because there is ongoing litigation with the county on this, but this is for the this is a supplemental appropriation and loan order on the amount of $1.1 million for the construction of 3 buildings for the carbon treatment units, and those carbon treatment units will have to continue through the cold months, and those they can't be exposed to cold. They have to be contained within buildings, and so this will provide for the operation of the building, or the construction of the building and operation of such. So this is really adding to the cost of the perfluorinated compounds that were detected in much of the Hyannis water system's wells in that area. So.
Sure.
Found in 6 of the 10 wells, actually.
Exactly. And now we're moving on to new business, and it looks like we're starting with some appointments and reappointments to boards, committees, and commissions. Always good to see that big field of volunteer citizens.
That's right.
Stepping
We
up.
always appreciate that, and I have to put in a plug. Not only for the volunteers that serve on these boards, committees, and commissions, but the council office staff that puts it all together, make sure that everybody's current and reappointed, and keeping the quorums alive on these very important committees. So. Then we move to item that may be acted upon, and that's the acceptance of a grant renewal in the amount of $42,000 from the Mass Department of Mental Health, and this is a continuation of a grant for the police department. Over the past 2 years since this grant was initiated, they've established an innovative jail diversion program and community crisis intervention team designed to divert persons with mental health and substance abuse issues or crisis away from the criminal justice system and steer them towards appropriate services. This improves the quality of life issues for the residents and the businesses and overall community of the town. So this grant helps to train members of the police department on the mental health first aid courses and very important
Absolutely.
Grant. We really appreciate that.
So important, especially with so many of the issues that we have to deal with. Next one looks like having to do a little bit with the work that the Hyannis Fire District is going to start soon on their new station.
That's right. This was requested by the fire commissioners in Barnstable, and they're asking for the town to waive the fees for construction work at the new fire station. And this has been done. There is precedence for this. And these fees, when you construct a multi-million-dollar facility, as this will be, the permitting fees, construction fees, can grow considerably. And I'm sure Mr. Cross will be presenting their case. Will give us an idea, but I think it's upwards of $100,000, which eventually would have to be borne on the ratepayers of that district. So
sure.
There'll be, I'm sure, discussion on this item.
Definitely. And then the next looks like an amendment to the ordinance dealing with the meetings. Tell me a little bit about
that's just
this.
a little housekeeping. You know, our meeting ordinance in the Chapter 220 states right now that the council meetings are on the first and third Thursdays. Well, sometimes the first Thursday, as it did in September, fell just before a pretty large holiday weekend. So it was decided to move it, and we couldn't move it to the second because of the election that took place on that odd Thursday, and that took place on Thursday because of the holiday weekend. That the folks working at the voting booths would have had to work, for overtime on Monday preparing. So that's why we had an election on a Thursday. So this just allows a little bit more flexibility. We still will hold our two meetings on a monthly basis, and most generally will be on the first and third. But allows a little bit more flexibility in scheduling and rescheduling meetings, and so that's a little housekeeping there.
Wonderful. And the next item, really excited to see this. I think this is definitely a much-needed group here in town. Certainly, as a cyclist and a avid walker myself, I'm looking at the formation of a bicycle and pedestrian advisory committee. I think this is great. Yeah,
this is a long time coming, and actually, the town of Barnstable is kind of late at the table on this issue.
Sure.
All the other towns, I think there's only one other town that has not instituted this type of advisory committee. But how I see this, and this consists of 5 members. The work and to advise and assist the director of public works and town engineer, especially when we're talking about redesigning roads or resurfacing roads and making provisions and accommodations for those that do use bicycles. And as much as we'd all love to have a designated bike lane for bikes on our roads are very narrow, and I don't see this as expanding those, but yet accommodating them and making safety for our pedestrians and our bicyclists a priority. So we'll hear the voice of these users, and they should be at the table when we talk about complete streets.
We'll be sure to tune into our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 8 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we'll have Adoptable Pet Friday. We'll talk with Patty Machado, Director of Leisure Services, and Joe Izzo, General Manager for the HYCC, and much more on the program. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.